Welcome, acolytes. Today I am reacting to anime fans need to be more open to all kinds of shows from J Senpai X4, and thank you to Agent of Social Media Chaos for introducing me to this video. Let's hear what he has to say about it, because I'm actually pretty surprised. All kinds of show. I mean, anime is a very broad definition, so yeah.
About the stuff from yesterday about the anime community and just kind of the day before that too. I'm not gonna lie, now I'm just at a point where I'm just like, I want shows to be unique. I want shows to try something different than what we currently have. Now, where is this coming from? It's mainly due to the fact that as we kind of look at the community of really everything, the only shows that they glaze up hard as hell is shows like, you know, a shonen show and the battle stuff. And then you get the deep thinking shows that make you think psychologically and all that type of stuff. And that's really it. And basically the community will categorize it in three places: trash, mid, or peak. And that's basically it. That's essentially the lifespan of the current community of what they enjoy mentally. And it's
the thing is, that's normal. It will be, it is what it is. This is just the evolution of the entire thing. And at the end of the day, I mean, people like what people like. Most people like this, the other ones want this. It's, at the end, yes, if you want innovation, you actually have to support innovation and not just watch the things that, well, basically bring out the same thing. We have the exact same thing in gaming, so yeah.
so sad.
Watch the
and this is
stuff.
the reason why I'm going to make this video, just talk about, you know, the things I would like to see, at least mainly when it comes to anime. I could very much chuck video games into here too, and I might talk about it a little bit, but mainly this is more for the anime side of things. And really, I just want to see, you know, shows try something different. You know, we don't get shows that really sit here and try something different that catches people's attention.
You know what? I think it's not, because I'm gonna instantly. It's not that you want something different, or I assume. So I cannot read minds, acolytes, not now. But I just think most of the time, if somebody says I want something different, they mean that they just want something good. That's all. If it's something good, fair enough. You don't need it to be that different. But if it's good,
off guard. And one of the reasons why I'm even trying to make this video now is because I saw a comment where somebody was saying anime is not going to be the same as it used to be. And you're right, it's not going to be. But that doesn't mean it can't come up with any good ideas, because yeah, while anime not necessarily hit the same for some people like it used to anymore, there is still good ass ideas that is out there. It's just when that studio or when that you know, mangaka come through with an idea and just go ham with it and just basically throw caution to the wind, you can get some really good stuff out there. And it's not from the deep thinking shows or the shonen shows. A lot of times come from the edgy shows. Now, I know a lot of people might be like, it has a load of problems, it's just here to sexualize things and all that type of stuff. Yes, that is part of it. But tell me, why am I so damn hyped up and interested in shows like that that actually do different things than the average shonen show or the average deep thinking free-written type show or stuff like that, you know? I don't get super hyped up for those type of shows, but when it comes to an ecchi, I absolutely do. And yes, part of it is this, it really is about, you know, the booba and the ass that's fatter than your wife's, honestly. But when it comes down to it though, it's not the only aspect that I'm looking for. It's because there could be a story in there or a narrative being told in there that's really unique to that show and can't be done in any other place otherwise. Or it has to be toned down in some shape or form. And I feel like that's what I'm really looking for, right? Why do you think I like something like Danganronpa so damn much? Or anything that Kodaka can make when it comes down to Danganronpa or Raincoat, or even with, I think like a new game they coming out with, like the 100 Line Death Academy or something like that. Why do you think I like those? Because those are unique and those ain't something that you see every day. Those are stories that obviously are being told, but there's aspects about them that will make people kind of look at it from the side eye. The bombastic side eye, right? That's kind of how it is. But that's the stuff that I like the most.
I mean, yeah, But I think, if I remember correctly, those shows have the same, how is it called, Wurzeln, the same roots, but they are just told differently. So I think, are they unique per se? I wouldn't say so, because there are, I mean, let's just say, what's unique about Farron? I cannot. The elf woman that actually goes through treasure because she realizes that lives are very impactful, that it has some more Fenrir. And the thing is, the premise of it isn't that unique. How it's presented and how it's done, how the world builds around it, that's the freaking unique thing. The root is the same as a lot of those shows, but the tree that grows out of it is different. So maybe I'm misunderstanding his meaning of unique, but I just think that Farron isn't unique per se, it's good. It's really, it grew differently. Maybe we mean the same thing and just describe it differently.
Right? Because you're going to have, yes, weird ass moments in those damn games and shows, and it's going to be like an amazing experience as you're pretty much watching it. Because it's not doing things that's by the books, it's not doing things by a set standard, and something that a lot of people would normally typically see. You're going to get some weird ass responses out of it, but it's like, again, throw caution to the wind, throw something at the wall, see what sticks, and that's kind of the ideas that you kind of get. Now, obviously, I understand why you can't do this for everything, and why you can't just spam this out like that, because it's a risk. It's a financial risk as a business. You can't sit here and just throw out random ass ideas, because it might not pick up. People might not care, or it might do something weird that drives people away, and you never really know. I get that. But damn, would it be nice to see more shows like a Danganronpa or something like that when it comes down to it, where they have, you know, something crazy going on here, but then something absolutely weird going on in the corner of the screen that you're just like, wait, what the hell is this? I didn't ask for this, but okay, right? Or something of the line of like, you know, I guess even something like a plus size elf at times, right? A concept you're thinking, oh, there ain't no way a show about fat women exercise that's gonna work, and it's ecchi, we're gonna see fat boobs.
Okay.
Who cares about that? That shit sounds nasty and disgusting. Yet it was one of the hottest shit I think I've ever seen in ecchi, at least in the last 2 years. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you,
watch it
right?
then. Okay.
Or something like gushing over magical girls. Why would I care about watching a girl being hyped up for her, you know, favorite magical girls to say today and simp over that shit?
Oh,
that sounds
yeah.
boring as hell. Yet it does very good, and I absolutely enjoy the hell out the damn show. So there's a lot of crazy.
I'm gonna be honest, the last one, even though like people were, hey, Lich, here, watch this, come on, master, watch this, and I was very skeptical, but damn, it's well made. I mean, a sadistic magical girl isn't anything new. But is it well made, acolytes? Oh, it's so good. It's just so
shit that you
good.
get in ecchi that honestly pushes the boundaries of what can and cannot be done, and it's enjoyable. You know what's a really good shonen show that don't get enough type of attention, that is so damn good at throwing caution to the wind? Gintama. Gintama is so damn good, and yet no one talks about it, and it drives me insane that no one talks about it, because it's literally the show where it's like, yeah, you get a lot of comedy stuff that really doesn't matter, and you get a lot of plot points of story-driven stuff that does matter, and you still have that, but it knows how to flip-flop itself around or do wild and shit just because it can, and it's just so damn good.
Okay,
right?
I have to watch it.
That's the crazy part about Gintama. It's basically a parody of everything, but when it comes down to actual plot and story, it's definitely there, right? It's so much there, and it's so good. And we don't really get a lot of shonen shows that throw caution to the wind. The only show I can think of that slightly did that and really wasn't acting like a shonen show is again Madoka Box, because it felt like, yeah, because it had the shonen label, you're gonna expect shonen things, but it really didn't do anything super ultimately shonen like. Yes, it had shonen concepts, like yes, you did have a slight tournament thing, and yes, you did have other things of that sort that did fall in the shonen bracket, but it mainly wasn't trying to be a shonen show, and that's the fun part about it. And I promise you, it's like these are the two categories where you can find the unique shows that aren't trying to be like a regular shonen, or shows that are just in the ecchi variety that is allowed to do whatever the hell they want to. Why you think something like High School DxD is something that people absolutely remember? Because it has mad booba. It is an OG classic of a booba show, and still it has a plot that actually can carry out itself, and while you might not necessarily care too much for it, it's still something that you will probably want to see coming through again, right? And I think that's also like another issue too, a slight issue as well, is that there's a lot of shows that people want to see come back and doesn't come back. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody will be over the moon for DxD to come back, or Shimoneta, or things of the sort like that. I'm pretty certain people will like to see it, but they don't come back, and it's super weird as to why they do not come back. And so
the thing is, these days, even if there was a possibility of my favorite shows coming back from when I was a kid, I wouldn't want them back. Why? Because the possibility of them being effed up gigantically is too high in my opinion. So I am, Acolytes, I am definitively more on the place of caution. Because the giant FNS beholders are everywhere. And pray to the unholy gods that none of your favorite childhood shows get redone in the next effing 10 years. Just pray.
Some shows in the ecchi variety doesn't have to push boundaries. Some shows are just good because their pacing is good and they actually somehow make you care. Or certain shows just be, you know, completely the opposite of that and just be on a spiraling hill of what the actual hell did I just watch. The first instance would be something like Harem Labyrinth of Another World, because that show, for whatever reason, was really damn good. It was paced out. It wasn't like the greatest anime of all time, but it was paced out well to the point you understood that the world building was there, and you understood that it's like, oh, there's more to this than, you know, just smashing scenes, and that's about it. Where I can't necessarily say the same thing about Redo a Healer, and it really is a dark ass story, obviously, but it's something that I just didn't care for because obviously it just really ridiculous, I guess, for how dark it kind of gotten and how it goes and stuff like that, and that's personally why I didn't care. But it does have its audience though. And then the same thing I could say about, I don't know, Industries Reviewer. That show obviously is by far the most boundary breaking show in terms of ecchi that we really have ever seen. Like the
I mean, oh, I heard
show
about
was so
this
damn
one.
hot that it almost didn't air in Japan, and they only had one channel where it could air. When was the last time you seen a deep thinking show do something wild like that? When was the last time you seen a shonen show break Japan's whole broadcasting thing like that when it comes down to what they're trying to make? You don't really see stuff like that. And again, it's because they can take a risk. And certain shows don't even have to be always on the type of timing of ecchi, or they can have like slight moments of that and just be something that you will remember. It's why I will never forget something like Edith and Deities. No matter how many times people have not watched that show, I remember that shit because Miku was crazy. She was on Shota's dick. She was literally on that type of timing the entire show, and it was crazy and amazing. And I haven't seen a show do that in an anime really at all. The point I'm trying to make is very much essentially, You don't have to play the rules. You don't have to play things by the books. You can make whatever you want to and have fun. The reason why people don't necessarily do it is because the community aspect of things, how people will respond to it. And obviously, there's many different types of threats and harassment that people will receive after making such a product. And that's what also aids in preventing people to not necessarily make things of these sort of calibers, right? It's the very same reason why the gaming industry has been shit for the last couple of years, because no one wants to, take a big ass risk in a gamble into what the consumer actually wants and stuff like that. And that's why we.
And yet, they gamble and lose all the time in games like Concord. I wouldn't say that people actually... Yeah, the harassment is true. I mean, I think... I'm gonna be honest, I think Sensei puts way too much worth in harassment and things like that. Because, yeah, of course you get harassed. I mean, I am a freaking... Acolytes, I'm not the biggest channel. You know it, I know it. But even I got harassed. So, right now, it's just... Yeah... And I also think it always existed, but you can just mute the people. Maybe I just have a thicker skin than most, or I just realized in the very beginning that this is just an option and just... But it should never ever, harassment should never ever stop you from doing something you want to do, or if it's, of course, in a legal, normal way. Because in the end of the day, those are bullies. And if those bullies win, they are happier. And if they don't win, they just get more miserable. So, and maybe even stop and realize that they can be happy. But, I mean, maybe it's more complicated than I give it credit for, but I just...
get massive flop after flop, right? That's why we very, very rarely get games that actually slap hard as they do, like a Genshin for me personally, or something like a Final Fantasy if you're just playing a Final Fantasy 7 or 16 or 15 or whatever, or even Kingdom Hearts, especially with Kingdom Hearts 4. At some point I like to see the game come back square at some point, but when it comes down to it though, you get the whole gist. You don't get games that actually throw caution to the wind anymore and try anything, unless you're looking at the Eastern side, because they're really trying now. That's why you get something like, Lost Soul Side is coming out this year. Or like that one London game that was shown recently at the last State of Play. Or you get something like Stellar Blade with the big booty Korean cheeks. Like, yes, that's absolutely something that we want to see, because we haven't had that in like some years now, right? Before everything turned to shit.
We do.
So you gotta throw ideas out there at some point in time, and just kind of just say F it with the community aspect. As long as it's something that people still want to see, and it's something that you would want to see happen, and people could probably respond well to it too, shoot for that damn idea. It's not that hard to do, like risky as it may be.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree with that one. Having a good new idea is... I mean, let's just forget the risk part and be it as it is. Having a good new idea is hard. And I'm gonna be honest, having an idea isn't that hard. But having something really unique and a good idea, that's rare and hard.
You might need to just go ahead and try it, because you never really know what's gonna happen until that thing kind of happens. And for the people that might be like, well, how do you know that the idea could work out or something like that? Or how do you go about doing it like that when it comes down to a story or something like that with its characters and things like that? Easy. Look at Fire Force. Fire Force is just a plethora of just random shit that kind of happens at times. And at the very same time, came off as one of the greatest shows I think I've ever really seen. And that's not even me exaggerating stuff. Yes, people will complain about Tamaki, but screw those people. The rest of the show is great. Again, it's a concept of firefighters fighting literal fires. How the hell has no one thought of that idea, and why is it so badass? I'm not even joking. It's so damn good. Hell, even from my own writing and my own story that I tell on the channel, you have to throw in random ass wrenches in random ass places just to spruce up the story to kind of not be, you know, the same every episode or whatever. Like, spoiler,
Okay,
but Shu Hao, you thinking this chick is normal? No, she's crazy. She has a crazy side when it comes to certain things, and that's a little bit of spoiler for the next episode. But when it comes down to it, though, like, yeah, you gotta throw wrenches out there every once in a while. I ain't saying do it every single time, because that's not how that works. And obviously people get bored of it. But definitely change something up. You never really know. But overall, I just want to see the industry, or whether anime or whether it's game, just to kind of throw shit out there and just kind of have fun with stuff. That's really what I want to say. And ignore kind of the really toxic part of the communities that is out there. Ignore all the death threats and harassment and stuff like that if you can. Because there are so many good ideas that can be done that's probably not even existing yet. And probably sitting on someone's desk or hard drive. And could be very much launched out there. And it could be doing very much big numbers, but people are scared to do it. So just launch that thing and see what happens. Especially in the extra territory, because you have literally free reign to do whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah, and by the way, I agree with him hard on the point of just try it out. It is what it is.
And there's very much good ideas that I have off the top of my head that I could probably think of and do. And there probably would be great ass ideas, but at the very same time, if you never really launch those things, then what the hell is the point, essentially? You're gonna keep continuing to get boring ass content. It's not gonna be fun. So just make things more lively. That's really all I can say in terms of the matter of all this. But
I disagree. I prefer my content undead.
But yeah, that's really all I want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also on socials, any likes.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, I always forget to look at J Senpai X4. But it's always so interesting what he actually has to say. And while I agree on some things with him, I also disagree on some things that we maybe even in this video that maybe we mean the same thing and just disagree on the wording or something like that. It's always good to hear, and he's actually doing quite well again. And I always forget to freaking like the videos. This is beautiful. But the only thing I have to criticize again is that he just didn't present Genshin Impact. Like, he's using their stuff, but he doesn't mention it at all here. It's like, come on, just that's literally a click. That's literally a click. But as it is, good night, Akonites.